Welcome back, Minties. This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and today I'm going to do the comprehensive reading order of The Secret Six. This is a very underrated book by Gail Simone, so please stay tuned. Okay, let's get this started. And before I do, I wanted to say thank you to the Patreons who voted for this when I put the poll up on the Patreon website. This is what they wanted to see, the Secret Six reading order. So the story really begins in the miniseries called Villains United. It was a 6-issue miniseries. It's collected within the pages of Infinite Crisis, the omnibus here, as well as the Villains United special one-shot that's collected in here. Here's where you're introduced to a lot of the characters who don't really have a name yet, but they will be known as the Secret Six later on. And yeah, this is all collected in here. It's also collected in a trade paperback called Villains United, but you don't get the one-shot special in there. You have to buy the Infinite Crisis Companion. So unless you get the omnibus, that's the way to do it, and that's where begins the story of the Secret Six. Now, and another thing I want to say is that the main storyline of the Secret Six is collected in 4 oversized trade paperbacks, with the exception of a couple of these, and I'll go over them. So I say we start off with Birds of Prey. This is Dead of Winter. Now, this comprehensive reading order will come in handy because some of these books are, even though they're out of print, they're easy to find on the cheap side, more so than the oversized trade paperbacks. The reason I put this in here is because this is the final issues of Gail Simone, who was wrapping up her run on Birds of Prey because she was taking over the book of Secret Six. So this collects Birds of Prey 104 and 108, and it's pretty much a story of how they square off against the Secret Six. That's why I included it on here. Now, after that, we move on to the Secret Six limited series. This is not collected, by the way, in those thick trades. This is Secret Six, 6 Degrees of Devastation. It was a 6-issue limited series. Again, written by Gail Simone, art by Brad Walker, and story featuring just a bunch of second stringers. That's what they are. And it's pretty cool, because I really wasn't familiar with a lot of these, with the exception of Catman and, of course, Deadshot from his years in Suicide Squad. But Gail Simone knows how to make each one of these interesting and compelling characters stand out. It's really cool what she was able to do. Very much in the same vein that Peter David did with X Factor, or for that matter, Ostrander did in the original Suicide Squad series. So this takes place after the events of Villains United and that one-shot. That's where you come and read this. And I guess if you've never read any of these, you're probably asking, what the hell or who the hell are the Secret Six? Well, to best describe them, I guess they are a team mainly of villainous characters who just undertake missions of some questionable morale, maybe, and usually end up just with a lot of dead people, a lot of dead bodies. It crosses the lines from time to time. I love the lineup of Catman, Deadshot, Cheshire, Ragdoll, Scandal Savage, and and then later on Bane, of course. But the lineup is constantly changing, so I'll get to that here in a little bit. So they are hired to do missions and sometimes even kill each other, kill members of the team. And there's lots of betrayal, lots of action and conspiracy. I love this run, so let's keep looking at these books. Next up is Unhinged. So this kicks off the regular ongoing series of Secret Six because the limited series did so well. DC was like, okay, let's take a gamble. Let's go ahead and give her an ongoing. And I'm so glad they did. It's kind of hard to describe them because they do a lot of kind of shitty stuff. But, you know, she really does a great job of balancing each of the members' psychosis with enough genuine personality to make them really endearing. As messed up as it is, and I'll show you here in the next volume how she's able to do that with one of the most hated characters, and that is Bane. By the way, this collects issues 1 through 7 of the ongoing, and this collects issues 8 through 14. This is probably my favorite book out of the entire run. This is Depths. And also, when people ask me what is my favorite Bane story, and look no further than this volume right here. She does an amazing job of humanizing this character. Not to take away what Chuck Dixon did back in his years of Batman, but for some reason, I really like the way that she writes Bane. It's almost heartbreaking, even though he's a straight up asshole and he used to be a kind of a one-dimensional villain. she adds so many layers to his character that you kind of sympathize for the guy and his addiction problems and all that, and then he starts bonding with other, because you never really see him bond with any other villain, so this was a nice break from the regular. And here's volume 3. This collects issues 15 through 18 and the crossover event with Suicide Squad 67. This just keeps continuing, blowing away any settled notion that you thought you had about these villains. As always, when you get comfortable with a character, they tend to just get killed off. I'm not going to do any spoilers here, but some of them don't make it. And it's kind of cool because it's a constant change up in the lineup, kind of like in the way that Suicide Squad was. And yes, this is the Blackest Night Suicide Squad issue. I thought it was a great addition to this. And more Bane, who turned out him and Deadshot and Catman are my favorite characters. Here's the next volume, Cats in the Cradle. Also written by Gail Simone and John Ostrander, same guy that did Suicide Squad. Now we have art by Jim Califiore. Sure. Sorry if I'm butchering his name. This one collects issues 19 of 224. This is a really interesting story. This is the one where Thomas Blake, Catman, is heading to Africa to find the 3 guys that kidnapped his long-lost son. And that's the kid that he had with Jade. So I really like this one. This one's a good issue too, or a good volume as well. Actually, you know, all of these are. This is one of my highly most anticipated. When I do my most wanted DC omnibuses, you can be assured that this is going to be on that list. And I'm going to probably do a top 30 because there is a lot. Whereas Marvel has printed so much of the stuff that I love, DC has yet to collect most of the stuff that I want. This is Reptile Brain, collecting issues 25 through 29 and Action Comics 896. So the premise of this one is not that great. It's probably my least favorite one of the whole Volume 1 run. And this is where the Secret Six go to Scarfaris, I think, home of Warlord. I don't know if y'all remember that obscure character or not, but he was kind of awesome to me as a kid. And Amanda Waller is not happy with that decision, so she makes another Secret Six team led by Bane. So I like the premise, but I don't know. The execution just wasn't as fun. Don't get me wrong, it's still a damn good read, just not as good as I thought it should have been. And to wrap up Volume 1 of Secret Six, this is The Darkest House, and what I mean by Volume 1, this is before Flashpoint. So if you know what that means after Flashpoint, we start the New 52 universe, where a lot of characters are revamped and origins are retold. So Secret Six weren't really that affected. This particular story, they have to fight off the Doom Patrol because, you know, comic books, they have to sell, right? Collecting issues 30 through 36 and Doom Patrol number 19. Yeah, just wrapping up that run, but it seems like they're continuing the story, even though it's revamping with New 52. So let's get to that. So let's get to the New 52 era. This is Secret Six, Friends in Low Places. So I guess Volume 2, if you're keeping count. Also, these 2 books right here are not collected in the fat trade paperbacks I was talking about earlier. This collects issues 1 through 6 and the sneak peek of Secret Six number 1. So it's really quite exciting that they decided to carry on the Secret Six. By the way, this has lovely artwork by Ken Lashley, if I'm not mistaken. Dale Eaglesham and Tom Derenick. Yeah, so I was right. It is Ken Lashley at the beginning. Loved his art ever since his early days at Marvel at Excalibur. So this particular group of Secret Six are forced together by different means, different than what we've seen before. So no involvement of Amanda Waller at first, but other means is how they decide to come together. So it's a different team because, like I said, the lineup is always changing. Could you start over fresh with this one? Probably not. I think you would enjoy reading the other stuff and then reading this to get you kind of a heads up and a lead as to why some of these characters are acting the way they are. All right, and the final volume and collecting issues 7 through 14 of the New 52 line. And then Gail Simone was just done. The series got canceled. Really can't remember what happened. Oh, I think they started a Suicide Squad book that was kind of crap. I wasn't a big fan of that Suicide Squad New 52. I think I ended up with the first two or three volumes and ended up selling them. I still love her run. I think I love the way that she's always written these characters that come together that are a newly found Suicide Squad. But I guess it had to end, and it felt like it ended in a huge rush. I don't know, like, if she was forced off the book or if it was her own choosing, but I didn't like the way that it ended because it just felt rushed. I was hoping that maybe they would continue like a limited series, but now that we have Rebirth, none of this stories probably will make any sense, so it's a shame because I think it's a missed opportunity. And that is the comprehensive reading order of Gail Simone's Secret Six. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever read the series, if you're interested in it. And like I said, whenever I do my top 30 most wanted DC omnibuses, I'm pretty sure you will see this on that list. Just throwing that out there. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the contents of this channel, please think about subscribing and like the video, please, because that helps promote it. Don't forget to check us out on our social media pages at NearMintCon. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be Near Mint.